Let me get this. All right. I think I'm live, maybe. Let me give it just another minute. Computer's still swirling. There we go. Now I'm live. All right, I'm going to give a few minutes for everybody to join on. I hope everybody's doing well today. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful weather. Did you guys enjoy playing outside today? Nice and cool. All right. All right, if you're here, I would love for you to say hi in the comments so I know you're here. And I'm looking forward to day 2 with you guys. Did you all find your eggs? If you did you find a new animal today? What animal did you find? Hopefully you found, and you can see him up here, the sheep. And it's little bitty. So I know for some people that's too small, but you have the coloring page. Again, I'll pin it in the comment section for anybody that's not in town and can't get a kit. So, all right, there's the little sheep. I'm just going to give a few more minutes for everybody to get on. Oh, good. Somebody just commented they can hear me. Yay. I'm glad to hear that. Awesome. All right. Again, if you're here, let me know in the comments so I can say hi. I'd love to see y'all. And thank you, a big thank you again to Julie Little for letting us use her book, Rufus Finds the Way. I hope everybody enjoyed day 1. And day 1 was the first day, it was Palm Sunday. And everybody remember what happened on day 1? We met Rufus the bunny on the trail, and he met a big war horse named Major. And was Major humble, or was he pretty proud and arrogant? He really thought himself to be the best, didn't he? Yeah. And then they saw the king coming in on the donkey. And that surprised him because he didn't think any king worth anything would come in on a donkey. But he did. And who's that king? Anybody want to put it in the comments? Who's this king that came in on the donkey? It's Jesus. That's right. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with day 2 from Rufus Finds the Way, and it's titled Rescued. Rufus had never seen so many people. The city frightened him with its crowded roadways, markets full of feet and noise and wheels and strange smells, the constant cloud of dust from so many people and animals all in one place. He would have hopped right out of there, but he kept remembering the eyes of the king looking down into his. Besides, where else could he go? It was not difficult to find the king. It seemed everyone wanted to find him. Rufus only had to follow the largest crowds and the loudest sounds. His quest had taken him to a building called the Temple, a large building with many courtyards. Today, the temple and the courtyards overflowed with people. Rufus hid behind a tree across the temple. He trembled as he watched the hundreds of people coming and going. Many of them were leading or carrying animals, sheep, cows, even birds, and the noise was terrible. He tried not to think about getting trampled under all those feet. Think of the king, think of the king, he said to himself, and bravely he hopped across the street. He just missed being stepped on by a huge cow before he slipped into the nearest doorway. He stopped in his tracks, confused by the crowds of people pushing against each other. The noise was even worse inside the temple. Now what? How was he to find the king in the midst of such chaos? Rufus looked around for a good place to hide. My sheep are the best, he heard a nearby human voice say loudly. Do you think I would accept such a paltry sum for the best sheep at the temple? They are worth at least twice that. The man who spoke behind a rough wooden table, around which were tied many mournful looking sheep. He argued with another man who eyed the sheep skeptically. One of the sheep looked at Rufus and smiled sadly. He was the smallest of the lot, and he looked as if he'd been crying. Rufus thought of his own troubles. Maybe the sheep needed a friend too. Timidly, he hopped closer. Hi, he said. I'm Rufus. What's your name? I'm Timothy, sighed the sheep. What is a little rabbit like you doing in the temple? I'm looking for the king, said Rufus. Have you seen him? Timothy shook his head. No, no kings here, only customers. But why are you so sad? Rufus asked. And why are you tied up in here? Is this your home? Oh, no. I used to live with my mother in the greenest, grassiest meadow you could ever imagine, said Timothy dreamily. What happened? I bleated too much. I was too loud. At least that is what the shepherd said. He sold me. Timothy looked quietly at the ground. He sold you just for bleating? Rufus said in disbelief. Yes, I am to be a sacrifice for the temple. My new owner will sell me to the highest bidder. But being a sacrifice will be better than being tied to this table. My owner kicks me every time I move. I'm so sorry, said Rufus. I wish I could help. I miss my mother, Timothy said, his eyes filling with tears. Rufus thought of his own mother and nodded. Sometimes I dream that someone kind will buy me and set me free, the little sheep sniffed. But what are you doing here, Rufus? Where is your family? Rufus looked at the ground. I ran away, he said quietly. Did you do something naughty too? Yes, said Rufus sadly, thinking of the home he had not seen for so long. I did something very bad, and I can never go back. Oh, it couldn't be that bad. What was it? Asked Timothy. Before Rufus could open his mouth to reply, they heard a terrible commotion from the other end of the temple. The sound of voices shouting, wood cracking, and coins clanging on the stones could be heard above the frightening braying of animals. What is that? Cried Rufus. He hopped closer to Timothy, whiskers quivering with fear. I don't know, but it's coming our way, Timothy shouted over the growing din. Suddenly, in the midst of chaos, Rufus saw the king. He looked nothing like he had the day before, sitting calmly and quietly on the donkey. Now he strode angrily through the temple, and his face looked like thunder. He walked right up to the table of Timothy's owner and slammed his fist down hard. This is my father's house, he said. How dare you make it into a den of thieves? He picked up the table with one strong arm and threw it to the ground, smashing it to bits. The sheep bleated with fear as they scurried out of the way. Rufus caught a glimpse of Timothy's owner cowering before the king. And it was no wonder. The king looked as though he could blow the whole temple to bits with one single breath. Get your filthy trade out of here, the king shouted. This place is meant to be holy. The owner bowed and slunk backwards towards the door of the temple. Then he turned and began to look for his scattered sheep. Quick, Timothy, get out of here. Now is your chance. Rufus looked at the bewildered little sheep. The rope still hung around his neck, but the table he was tied to had been smashed. Do you really think I can? Timothy asked in amazement. Yes, but you have to run now. Don't you see? You are free. The king set you free. I am free, Timothy whispered. He began to smile. Run, Timothy, run! I hope to see you again, little friend, said Timothy. Then he disappeared through the temple door. Rufus smiled to see his new friend happy and free. He didn't understand everything about this strange king, but he must be brave and good to do such a wonderful thing. He hopped back to his hiding place behind the tree, watching to see what amazing thing the king would do next. All right, and that ends day 2. Wow, some of you may have heard this story from the Bible before when Jesus goes into the temple and turns over the table. So he's so upset that the holy place meant to worship God was being used to sell things. Imagine if a great big store set up in your sanctuary at your church or wherever it is you worship, and they were selling stuff, socks, candy bars, milk. And sometimes that stuff's good because you're doing fundraisers or you're gathering supplies for events. But if it was every single day of every single week, it wouldn't be feel like a holy place anymore, would it? So Jesus was really mad. So, all right, so we've met Rufus and we've met Major and we've met Timothy the sheep. I wonder who we're going to meet tomorrow. All right, are you guys hiding your eggs? Or are you finding your eggs? And maybe once you find them, maybe you can hide them for your parents. Make sure you pick tricky spots. Okay. Again, I would love to hear comments, what you guys think about the story and how the egg hunt's going. Post some pictures of you guys finding eggs or hiding the eggs for your parents. Okay, I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Y'all have a great night. Bye.